Hi, this is video number 8. It is 7 o'clock in the morning here on, I think, Thursday, 13th of September. I've been up for probably 3 hours, I couldn't sleep very well. So, another video update. I've still got this bad skin rash, although it's not painful now. That's a side effect of a drug that I was having with the chemotherapy. This update is no news really, just a kind of a thank you and some things you can do. It's really good if you can watch the videos I've been doing and if you can share them, and especially please leave comments either on YouTube or on Facebook where I post the videos as well. Your comments are the only way that I know you've seen them, really. There are numbers of people that, there's a number that says how many people watched it, but those numbers are mainly search engines and spam bots and that kind of thing. So please do put a comment. I'm going to try and look at the camera so it doesn't work particularly well. So, one thing is, if you do know any doctors or nurses or medical research scientists, please talk to them. Please thank them for their work. It's a really big thing. They are fighting every day for the lives of other people. Taking care of people, sometimes in very, very, very unpleasant, depressing circumstances. They're amazing, really amazing people, especially any medical research scientists, but also remember a lot of doctors and consultants are doing medical research all the time as well. And also the nurses, especially the specialist nurses like chemotherapy nurses for cancer obviously, or nurse anaesthetists who help when someone goes into surgery for general anaesthetic. These are quite remarkable people, and they work in very difficult situations. In Japan, nurses here do 16-hour shifts, which is very, very tough when you're on your feet pretty much for 16 hours. And you're helping people who are sick and, sadly, in some cases, people who are dying or, end-of-life care. Surgeons often work through the night trying to save people's lives. And obviously sometimes their patients die, which is incredibly upsetting for them and everyone concerned. So, that's the main purpose of this video, really, is just please have a think about those people. I appreciate that a lot if you just consider them, and if you do know any of those people, talk to them. Particularly in the UK, where the government has embarked on an onslaught to destroy our health system. There are so many things wrong with our health system in the UK, it is absolutely true. However, the government is just relentlessly trying to destroy it, and the media print lies about doctors, particularly every single day of the week. The lies are just disgusting. A lot of people don't realise that in England you can remain a junior doctor for many, 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 many years, and you're doing those, those incredibly long shifts, basically working yourself to death. So this idea that there are all these people who quickly become consultants and get huge salaries, that's just nonsense. So please don't believe the media lies. I know this firsthand because I know people who work in the medical system in the UK. I know people who work in the admin side, but also doctors as well. And it's just appalling how they're treated and how they're viewed. Yes, our National Health Service in England is at breaking point, and a lot of stuff is wrong, but a lot of that stuff is as a result of government policy. We're using a lot of agency nurses, for example, in England to try and keep waiting lists down, opening up hospitals at weekends with agency staff. When I had my medical scans in England, my CT scan, which looks for lumps, and PET scan, which looks for cell activity, both of those were from private scanning companies, and I was basically in the back of a truck, literally in a waiting room, and they opened the outside doors, and I went out and sat in the back of a truck and had my scan, which is just pathetic. I happen to know that my hospital actually has one of those scanning machines. They have a PET scanner, and they don't have any staff trained on it, and they do not have the supply of nuclear material that's needed to get that scanner working. It's sickening, really. But please, spare some time thinking about those people, but particularly the scientists, because our modern medicine is science-driven more than anything else. It really is. There's a lot of data and things collected in hospitals, and a lot of discoveries made in hospitals, but it's science-driven. Fundamentally, it's people working in labs, sat in front of computers every day, or sat with a notepad, trying to work out better medicines and better ways to keep people alive and better ways to save lives. And another thing I'd like to say, again, it's difficult to understand this, but very, very deep abstract science, surprisingly, tends to have very, very practical applications. For example, nuclear medicine. Okay, especially, obviously it's famous for cancer, proton beam therapies, and cyberknife, and these kind of technologies, and of course radiation treatment in general. Now, some of that has come out of very, very theoretical research into subatomic particles. People sat there with particle accelerators smashing atoms into each other and looking at the particles that come off. Sounds like completely theoretical, impractical, kind of what's the origin of the universe type research, but time and time and time and time again these have been found to have very, very, very practical applications. Sadly, a lot of medicine comes from war as well. So that's something to at least think about. It's not a good thing. Chemotherapy came out of war, out of World War II, in fact, with looking at people who were exposed to mustard gas. It was noticed that those who had bone lesions and kind of bone cancers and stuff, the cancers had so shrunk, or the lesions had got smaller. All modern medicine really comes from, or at least all modern kind of hygiene and healthcare comes from Florence Nightingale, who was an incredible nurse in the Crimean War, she was sort of the first person to really notice the connection between cleanliness in hospitals and life expectancy. She noticed that when soldiers were coming into a filthy, blood-encrusted bed, they tended to die quite quickly. All modern surgery really comes from the I think French Revolution, because before then surgery was seen as like a manual labour skill, and it was only, sadly, having access to so many people with similar injuries that they could work out best practice. Plastic surgery comes from really the Battle of Britain, and more modern plastic surgery comes from the Falklands War. Sad but true stuff. But those scientists, please, spare a thought for them. If you know people who are studying science at university, or even even at school, A level or whatever in England, please encourage them. We need far more scientists. We need a lot more scientists to go into physics, because that's going to be a huge growth area of medicine. Well, it obviously it is a very important area of medicine at the moment, but it's going to be much bigger with nuclear medicine, with materials science. We're using very, very crude materials, putting metals and plastics into people when we should have amazing organic materials by now. So this video is really just to thank my doctors and nurses who are trying to keep me alive. My immunotherapist happens to be probably maybe number one in the world, certainly up there, Dr. Telenuma. He's been doing immunotherapy in Japan for about 20 years. Immunotherapy itself is only about 30 years old. I think it was invented in the US. And so Dr. Telenuma is the pioneer of immunotherapy in Japan. And then, of course, my oncologist, Dr. Higuchi, my surgeon, Dr. Nitori. These people who, I'm a stranger to them, and they've been fighting, working incredibly hard to make me live longer, which is amazing. So, two things. One is, if you know any medical people, just thank them. They may have done a lot for you without you even realising it. Lots of people are born, many people are born premature, and only a short time ago those babies wouldn't have had a lot of chance of living, and now many people born very premature go on to live good, full lives. The medical science is the real wonder of the modern world, beyond anything else. We're incredibly lucky to be living in this time and have such amazing scientific-based medicine out there. And another thing is, I'd say, please keep watching these videos, leave comments, share them. They might help someone who has cancer, or who has a friend or family member who has cancer. So please do share these around. And I post them on YouTube. You can write a YouTube comment. If you have a Gmail email address, you can very easily just subscribe to the YouTube channel, so you'll get the updates. If you don't, then just takes 20 seconds or something to make a YouTube account, and you'll basically subscribe and you'll get email updates when the new videos come through. But please do that. Thank you so much for your support. The fundraising is still going very well. Over 300 people have donated over £25,000. I need to get up to about £95,000 quite soon, but well on the way there. So please visit the fundraising page. The link is matthewdons.org, and it's in the description of this video. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are.